Trading cricket, racing and football, you're listening to the Sports Trader podcast, brought to you by thesportstrader.com.
Good afternoon, everyone. I didn't push record on the cricket webinar we started, so we're going to just start it a little bit after the beginning, but I've invited a guest on, Tony from the 100 Club and the Cricket Room, to have a look at some different ways of trading the cricket. He's going to be looking at some run line markets for you. We're going to be looking at his screen this afternoon, and you'll hear all the ways that he trades the T20 and the One Day International. So sit back, enjoy, and look at a different perspective on trading cricket.
Where at the start of the IPL, you could easily be looking at a 10-run gap. So one firm might be going over 160. Another firm like 365 at 171 here. So you could back over with one firm, under with another firm. And if it lands in the middle, you have a nice free bet in the middle for a minimum risk. And you're normally getting like 10 to 1 it lands in the middle. So I'm all looking at the moment for any pre-lines on the runs lines, so I'll be getting all the sites open. There's probably not much between them at the moment. Just looking at what they're offering, and you want to try and back them at 5 to 6 or 10 to 11. The run lines to make it a 10 to 1 shot for the middle. So at the moment, I'll be looking at the first 6 overs, which a lot of them are quite similar. Like 365, 47.5. Hills are not yet. Sky Bet are also, they're 45.5. Now, what I tend to look for is the first 6 overs and 12 over lines, a difference of 3 or 4. So where Sky Bet there are 45.5, 365 at 47.5. I wouldn't go there, but I don't know if you can see. I'll just bring this spreadsheet across now for the IPL.
Yep, we can see that, mate. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, like if I'm backing over, say 45.5 under 47.5, if the first ball goes for a boundary 4 or a couple of dot balls, then I can add to that and go over 43.5, over 45.5. And if I have, say, 2 or 3 of them bets, I can have a good range of, say, between 40, 41 to 49 for a small risk of money. And obviously, if it lands in that zone, I'm going to get quite a decent return. And as you can see this is just at Dubai, there's quite a few times where it lands in between like 42, 42, 46, 44, 47. So you don't need many of them to land. The average overall is 46, but there is some highs and lows. But normally between 40 and 50 is quite a good range on the runs.
So Tony, would you expect Mumbai to be one of the highest scoring teams? Are you expecting maybe 46 to 52 here, or what are you expecting from Mumbai in this first 6 at Dubai?
If I was probably pricing this up myself, if I was doing this for Sporting Index, I'd probably have them on the highest. I'd probably agree more with 47 to 48, that sort of region,
right?
On this ground. Now, I have looked at the stats over the 14 games both of them have played, and I've actually backed Mumbai to have the highest first 6 overs, but only if they batted first. They seem to have quite a high when they're batting first. I think their average is something like 54. Let me just check. I was checking this the other day where, when they've batted first, their average is 51 compared to Delhi's of only 44. Now
the first innings run line here is 45.5, 46.5 total runs on Betfair. So you'd probably be going over on that one, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would. I tend not to just back on a big opinion where I'll go over. I tend to kind of think, if say for example that's 46 there,
yep,
and a firm go up say 49.5. Then I would back under 49.5 and over 46.5.
Yep. And then you get double bubble if it lands on 47 or 48.
You do, yeah. Now, obviously, if you're looking at Betfair's lines, over 46.5 is 2.0 even money.
Yep.
And for example, with 365, if you went, say they were 49 kind of thing, if you went under that range at 5 to 6, then the two in between, you're basically getting 20 to 1 kind of thing. Because if you had, like, for example, £10, well, work it out this way: if you have £11 on over 46.5, and then £12 on under 49.5, well, whatever. If you don't get in between, you're going to lose £1 kind of thing, because you're either going to get you're going to get 22 back either way. Now, if it lands in the middle, you're going to win £21. So effectively, you're getting 21 times your money there. You know.
Yeah.
And you don't need many of them to land in the game, kind of thing.
No. So the game's just started. The first balls went for 4. The second one's gone for 2. Is this something that you'd normally look to get on before the match starts, or is it something you play during the innings?
No, it's definitely in the innings, because for example, like the pre-match, you're probably only going to get like 2 or 3 difference in the opinion, kind of thing. Which, like I say, if I could back over 46 and under 49, I'd be doing that bet. But any less than 3, it's not worth it on them ones. And on the innings runs, I'm looking for probably between 5 to 10 kind of thing in the difference. Right. Now, I've on my stats on this tournament, in probably the first 2 weeks, I made quite a bit of money because there was a lot of difference in opinions. Now, as we go further on, they're getting more on the ball.
Well, they've had more to look at and
games
and a better idea. So it seems, Tony, that like horse racing, the market becomes far more volatile in running, and the spreads are not there pre-race or pre-event, because as soon as one firm goes out of line, they get hit by guys like you, don't they? The arbors are right onto it, and they move the line right down. So you're really now looking for a slow-moving book in play to take it. Is that right?
A slow moving, and really they're looking at like their opinion really now, because 365 are very good because their opinion, they go on their opinion. So sometimes they're bigger than Betfair, and they think a lot of the times, like in not yesterday's game, on what are we on now? Thursday, on Tuesday's match, they were also like way out of line with the run. So if someone like maybe De Villiers or Pollard or them type of people are in, they'll tend to go out of line on the innings runs because they think they'll score a lot more, kind of thing. So they'll have an opinion on it and be very opinionated on the match.
Right.
So that's the sort of thing that they'll be looking into. Now, I'd say the best games this works on is one-day internationals, and you can get like a real big difference in opinion on it. You could get the first 15 overs, you could be getting in between, say, a standard first 15 overs like India, England. Someone might be 72.5, someone might be 80.5. So it's quite a big range you could get there, kind of thing. So that is definitely where I make most of my money on one-day internationals.
Okay, that's very interesting. So you're just looking now for an opportunity to do something here. What are you looking to happen in the game, or does it really not matter if they score a load of runs or lose wickets? You just look at that variance.
Yeah, the tend when it happens, like Paddy Power are quite. They seem to, if there's a lot of boundaries, their line shoots up quite a lot. They're at 184.5 at the moment.
Yep.
Betfair 181 there. 365 180. Now, if there was a couple of sixes, some maybe to do with their model, but their line would probably shoot up to around the high 190s, and 365 might be still at like 191 or something, kind of thing like that, because they tend to over exaggerate when there's runs, and when there's wickets, it goes the other way. Paddy Power's line drops lower than everyone else. So I think it's just how their model system works, kind of thing. Now, there's not really much when they're going at like a standard rate. They're actually a good start there. So it's moved up from initial 170 to as high as 185 here. But just looking at that. Right, see there, now there's an opportunity there. The first 6 overs with this firm called UK Betting. So they're 57.5. I'll probably go on that. Now,
so you're backing that to be over 57.5 or under?
Under. So I've backed there. I've gone under 57.5.
Yep. And you've got
£36, and I've backed over 54.5. So effectively, I've got 55 to 57.
And
yeah, I'm risking £3 if I don't get it in between. But
Yeah.
if it lands 55 to 57, I win 63.
Yeah. So see what Tony's doing here, guys, for those that aren't really following what's going on, and I understand it is complicated when you first look at it. What he's doing is he's looking to take advantage of the under-over and the difference in prices. And at the end of the day, we'll spend more time really breaking this down and showing you what he's doing. But for today, just be happy to watch how he's operating. But effectively what he's done is he's now got himself a position where if it's over the runs or under the runs, he's virtually going to break even or a £3 loss on the deal. But if it lands between the two, so in this case, if Mumbai end up on 185, 186 or 187, he's going to end up winning both bets and £20, so £60. So there's a wicket. Mumbai's just lost a wicket. He's going to review it, throw it.
So on that one there, sorry.
Yeah, go on.
On that one there, it was on the first 6 overs I've backed on, so between 55 and 57.
Sorry, right? Yeah, okay.
Initial, yeah.
So you just explain what I tried to explain then. What happens if it isn't in that range again? You will lose £3.
Yeah, so if it finishes below 55, so 54 or less, I'll lose £3. If it finishes 58 or more, I'll lose £3. But if it lands 55, 56 or 57, I win the £63.
That's what I was trying to say. So you see, guys, he's got himself like a 20 to 1 bet, which is around right. I mean, it's probably a 20 to 1 shot that it lands on those three scores. But once you get average scores and you know what teams are making, it can be, it can be pretty lucrative. If you can hit 2 or 3 of these in a row, you're picking up £60 3 days in a row. You've got £180 off it. But then even if you lose the next 20, you've only lost £60. You're still 120 up. So you don't have to hit very many of them to be profitable. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yeah, definitely. I've done this for the last 3 or 4 years, and I've had quite substantial wins. And the hardest thing is with it keeping accounts open and stuff like that kind of thing. But as you can see there, I've been I think the most I can get on with this UK betting, which is there's quite a few of these sites which are very similar, like UK Betting, Unibet, Redbet, and they're all the similar thing. I could probably get about £40-50 a bet on now. I'm not actually risking that. You know what I mean? I'm probably risking between a 10th and a 20th of the stakes I'm putting on. But there's it lands a lot of crikey. I think I probably rarely have a day where I don't hit one of them, over the match in a few different, because for example, a wicket's not the greatest thing there because the line drops down now to 48.5. So if they just I think it's a boundary here or something.
Yeah, so it's jumped back through covers for 4. Yep.
So now it's jumped back up again. Now, ideally there, so we're on 50. It's on the Betfair's the best line to go off. You know what I mean? That's gospel basically. There's plenty of money there to go off kind of thing. So I'm looking now. If someone was 55.5, Hills are 50.5 there, where Betfair's. Now I'm looking they're 54.5 the UK betting I'm looking at now.
Yep.
So I'm probably going to jump on that one again. They've just 55.5, so I'll jump on that. £36 there. See, now Hills are quite slow there. They're still 50.5 for some reason.
It's interesting to me that you're still working off the fractional odds. I just couldn't do that anymore. I've just totally become a decimal person now. I can't work out. I mean, I can work them out, but my brain just works so much faster on it.
I think with working on course as well, it's all the fractional. So I could easily convert it over because at the race courses, you have to convert from fractional to decimal with the Betfair and stuff like that. So it doesn't really affect me, with the...
Yep.
Now, as you can see there, if you can look at the screen there, I've just backed £30 over 50.5 in the bottom right-hand corner of my screen.
Yep.
And I also add with that UK betting, let's just check there. I think I just...
So you've backed the over?
Yeah. And I've backed under 55.5 there.
Who's
So
that? Bet UK.
Yeah, so I've had, so if we work that out now, I've had over 50.5, under 55.5. So at the moment, if I didn't hit it, I've got between 51 and 55 and 55 and 57. So effectively, I'm risking £8, but I could win both bets if it landed on 55, or I could win 50 or 63 now.
Can you just go back to the other one though, the UK, because that looked like you've only got 1.75, so you don't get the even money for that. But if that one lands, it's not that great.
No, I just seen that there. I didn't actually notice that. I'm normally looking for 1.82. So I think what it was there. So effectively, what's that work out? I think it works out probably risking £6 there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just increases the risk. Yeah. But I think it's important that we tell the guys that, unlike Betfair, you bet on the run line on Betfair, you're getting even money. Whatever price you take there is evens. But
yeah, so for example, if I back with Hills and UK betting, I get 5 to 6 both sides.
Yeah.
So if I had £60 on each there, I'm risking £10 to win 100. So it's 10 to 1 your money.
Yeah.
So on that scenario kind of thing there. Now the other thing, the good one when 365 go out of line, say on their run lines on the first 20 overs, they might have an opinion and they might go, say 178, and on Betfair it might only be 171, and that happens quite a lot. Now on this one, because 365 are 1.9 and Betfair are even money, you're actually getting 40 to 1.
Right.
It works out at, because 1.9, and you know what I mean, you're getting a lot more because there's not much, and sometimes you can even back like the over at 2.0 and the under at 2.0 on Betfair. So like more that happens more on probably a one-day international because there's a bigger range. Now, what I will say is do not do this on test matches. Now, on test match, you could get a like gap of say 30. Someone might be over 300, someone might be under 330, but because they can back like half a day or 2 days, there's just it just doesn't like land. I've tried it on test matches so many times and lost money on it, so it doesn't actually work kind of thing on test matches.
No, but when you've got a one-day game and you've got the 6 overs to play with at the start, it's not going to be that far out. You know, a bad power play is going to be in the low 40s. A good power play is going to be in the high 50s. So you've only really got that 20-run band. It's going to land somewhere in there most of the time.
Yeah,
I think if you're looking around 46 to 51, I think you'd find worldwide would be the average.
Definitely, yeah. But obviously, the more you do it, kind of thing, the more like bands you get, you obviously the more chance of winning. And yeah, you're going to risk more, but you're not actually risking a great deal more, kind of thing. You know, and you could come into a stage where, say, for example, they started I've got here between 51 and 57. Say they start the 6 after 5 overs, say they're like 48. And then I might think, right, well, I don't want to lose any money, so my risk is £8. I'll have £8 on, which I wouldn't, but you could say I'll have £8 on over when it gets to 51, because the Betfair, the betting and running until the last thing. You could back over 57 just to cover your stake if you wanted to, you know, because you know you're going to win once it gets to 51. And I've done that quite a few times. You know, I could have on innings runs in a match. I could have like up to between 10 and 15 different bands, and some I could win 3 or 4 times. So if it's getting to like say an over left and I'm in that band and I'm thinking if there's more than 18 runs off this last over, I'm going to lose everything. I might cover it and have like £50 on over. Say I've got up to like 188. I could have £50 on over 185 just in case they go crazy, you know. So it's all about like managing your loss really, as well as.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about these 6 overrun lines. How do you feel at the moment? They're 31 for 1 off 3, so they're on target to get 60 or more here. But I mean, that's not really going to damage you because you've gone over. On one of them.
What are they on now? So the spreads are at 55, 54. I think Betfair's around about Betfair's 55, 56. William Hills, they've dropped what Hills done to start with. There was just so many ricks on their site with the 15 and the 12, 15 over run lines, because what they'd do is they'd open the 6 over and just like they'd virtually double it for the 12 and then add between like 27 and 30 runs on for the 15. Now, the only way that would, because I made quite a bit of money from that by going under, because the only way it would not win the under was if, for example, they just lost no wickets, because as soon as they lose wickets, it slows down. And that was what they weren't like factoring into it, kind of thing. And they seem to have like cottoned on now, kind of thing, because between 12 and 15 overs, then 3 overs, you'd think they'd score more than 21 runs, you know. So, but that was like a lot high. They'd have that at 30 runs normally. And obviously you'd go under. And so whoever was doing that has obviously cottoned on and changed it now. But we just have to see if the trader is doing that appears again. But this is quite like there's not really. I've not bet on any run markets at the moment. Now I'd be hoping if they get to 55, that would be enough for the highest first 6 overs. To be honest, I don't see Delhi getting that sort of score. Now I've got a feeling this is going to. Well,
there's a big 6.
Go over, yeah.
So that'll help.
So that was another thing on the I put that actually in the cricket room the other day. I thought that was a big price, the 1.8 on Mumbai, most 6s. Yeah.
Well, the Cock's on a mission here. He's off 34 off 16. So I think you're going to probably get over your 55. But you want it to land on where? 44, 45, 46, 42?
No, 51 to 57, but that's put it up to 60 at least now. 62, 63. So I'm probably going to.
If they get the Cock out in the power play, I think you're going to land right on it. But they need to get him out. But he is trying to hit everything out of the park at the moment. So there he goes again. But that's along the ground. That'll just be the one.
Yeah, it's an interesting scenario, this game, because of with Mumbai batting first, with the bias on the chasing team the last few.
Well, I'm not so sure that the bias is there now. I was having a look at the preview yesterday that I sent out to the members. Where the bias is sort of in this competition this year is Mumbai have given Delhi a bit of a cricket lesson twice, but it's often the case that in big games like this, it doesn't tend to happen so much. So it's, you can often see a team dominate during the tournament, but then it doesn't really happen so much. They're in form, but Delhi were losing, but they had a big win against RCB. But the 2 matches that they've played, they've won the past 3 in the head-to-head, Mumbai. And overall in the IPL, Mumbai do lead Delhi 14 games to 12. But so that proves Delhi can certainly beat them. And they did restrict Delhi to just 110 for 9. I think it was last week in that game in a 9-wicket win. I don't see that sort of thing happening again. So I did ask, is there a toss bias here? And it's been a straight split tone, 3-3 in the last 6 games here in Dubai. So winner batting first or chaser. So when you look at just the last 6, and I guess that's what we should do to get the current state of the pitch. It's no point looking at the first 6 games. When you look at the last 6 at this ground, it's 3 for the side batting first and 3 for second. So there's no real toss bias, in my opinion. What do you think of that? Am I wrong or?
Yeah, there's definitely at this ground. It doesn't seem to be as bad kind of thing. Now, 2 of them teams, which the only thing I've seen there is 2 of the teams what batted first and won scored 219 and 191, didn't they? So they're probably going to be a tough chase there. And then Kings Punjabi, how they defended 126, I do not know, against the Hyderabad. But, so I think if Mumbai can set like 190, I don't think that Delhi are chasing that. Myself.
No, I would have picked 170. I think Mumbai can defend 170, but Sporting Index at the moment have got the spread at 186, 183 now. So it's the 180 to 186, giving you a total of the 183. Sorry, so that's where they're landing. I think 170 to 180. We've got a good game. So what score would you have Mumbai on to make this an even money game?
For Delhi to be even money.
Yeah, both sides even money. What do you reckon? 175? Would you have them both at evens there? 170?
I'd probably have less. I'd probably say about one. I'd say lower than that. I'd say probably about 165 to 170.
Okay, so 165. You think we've got an even money game there? Yeah, I'd go with that. I was going to say 170. So that's
because looking at this Sky Bet here.
Yep.
No, it's a bit. Can you see that there? That request
about everything. Thing?
Yeah. They've got both teams to score. Now, this is obviously factored into Mumbai to score 160 in the first place, but they're saying that both teams to score 160 or more is 10 to 11.
Yeah.
So they're actually, like I was looking at some of these and I thought these were quite big. This 170 at like 7 to 4, 2.75.
Yeah.
Which seemed to, because if I think they're going to score they could chase 170, then that seems quite big, really. But
it's the 100 to 30. I like the 100 to 30 there about, which is, just over 3 to 1, guys. It's about 310, 315 is 100 to 30 on Betfair. 410.
So that seemed quite a big.
Yeah, to get 180 and then Delhi would have to chase it. This could be a wicket. Let's hold the phone here. No, there's no one out there.
So this is getting quite dangerous now. This Mumbai, they're gonna. So it's looking like on them two bets I've had. I had a good little range there, 51 to 57, but I'll write that off as a
well, that's gone because you've got 10 balls to go and they're 52. They're going to go close to 70 here.
That's the problem. But I tell you what, I've had so many times where I think there was one last week and I was nearly like threw the mouse at the TV. I think I was on over. I needed like 52 or more, and after 4 overs they were on 46 or something, and they scored 3 after the next 2 overs. So I've had a lot of like instances where that's happened, and it won't happen in this game because Mumbai are a different class. But sometimes you lose a wicket and the mentality comes out that they don't hit the ball, they just block out, and especially when there's a spinner on or something like that, or you have like MS Dhoni or something like that on, kind of thing. It's you never like count that you've won before it, kind of thing. So
there was a very interesting ball then, Tone, when he went a bouncer. He went to play, it went through to the keeper, and there was a loud appeal. But no, he hasn't got near that. I'm just watching the replay. He's nowhere near that one. Missed it by a good inch.
Yeah, I've just got it on now. That's
yeah.
That was an interesting.
Well, they didn't. They appealed it, but he didn't review it, which was good. Would have been a waste.
I don't know whether they're going to bowl another over of pace, which they seem to do. Delhi quite a lot, haven't they?
So you need about 2 or 3 runs off this next over, mate, and you're good.
Up to 57, up to 5, but the only way I think that happens if they bring on a spinner, but Patel didn't.
They need to get
very well.
They need the cock swinging to the fence first ball and to get out, and then
definitely.
You get a new batsman in, and you sort of some hope. But if they go over the 57, you're only losing about £3 or £4, aren't you? Is that right?
I lose £8. So.
£8.
But like I say, if you're getting like I've had there like a 7 run between 51 and 57, and that's probably lands quite often, in that zone. If you pre-match, if you said you can have 5 to 1 that the first 6 overs are between 51 and 57, I'd back it, you know what I mean, kind of thing. So it's just about the more you can get, the bigger range you can get. It's obviously long term, you win more money, kind of thing.
Of course, yeah. The one thing I find frustrating about doing this is having all the accounts. That's what just does my head in.
Yeah.
Keeping
then again,
even.
It depends on how much you do. If you're doing it, I tend to do this like full time when I'm not working. So, and I've like made quite a bit of profit over the last 3 or 4 years. Make it worthwhile. And I think this is why I never really back ARBs, because I'd rather have the account win money off as betting, And
sorry, that's why you never really bet which. Sorry, Tony.
I don't bet ARBs if the price is wrong. Like say on 365 it's even money and you can lay like 1.8 on Betfair.
You don't do it
because your account just goes, Or if you back horses which are bigger on price and they come down, that's another reason there, kind of thing. Well, this is looking quite interesting here.
Yeah,
because it's 3 balls in and it's only 53. So
yeah, and you don't have the cock on strike. So
yeah, true. This guy's
that's what you want. What you'd love here is a single, and then this could be a wicket. Could be a wicket.
That looks a 6.
It's a 6.
Oh, we spoke too soon. Yeah, so this
2 balls to go, mate.
Yeah, the only good thing is the highest first 6 overs. I don't see Delhi getting anywhere near this.
Well, the thing is, right, there's not a whole... This is, guys, what I'm going to say now is you've got to factor all of this in, okay? This isn't the pressure of a knockout or a final. The loser of this game is not out. So Delhi will come out and chase this, and they'll have a real red-hot go because they've got nothing to lose. If they completely blow it, they've still got a game next week where they'll play the winner of tomorrow's game. So the winner of this one here goes straight into the grand final, or the final as they call it here, and the loser of this plays the winner of tomorrow's game. So Delhi won't be overcautious thinking, oh, we can't afford to blow this, where, we've got to win this game. No, they can come out and just go for it and say, look, let's have a red-hot crack here, because if we get off to a great start, we can win it and get into the grand final. I mean, you've got to factor that in, Tony, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. It's like it's not a knockout, so there's more. And I think the way Mumbai seem to be playing here is they know they need to set a decent score, don't they? I think they're probably targeting 190.
Yeah.
Now, obviously on Sky Bet there, they believe that Delhi have got no chance of chasing this because 180 there now. Well, 170, you'd fancy Mumbai getting over 170. So they're saying that 6-4. Now, what are the match odds on this?
The match odds
about
on
1.44. Yeah.
So Mumbai's got off to a great start, and they've gone 144, 325 here for Delhi. But what I would expect now is for the run rate to slow down a bit. Now they can put the field out. The run rate will drop.
Yeah, definitely. But I'd suspect they're going to score 180 plus here, which will be tough to chase down in my view.
Well, as we say, it's 3-3 in the chasing, and there's no real pressure. They got nothing to lose. They'll definitely go for it. I think that's why we're seeing Quinton de Kock bat the way he is, because it's, we're in a no win, no lose. Just excuse me for 1 minute. Something's turned up here in the office. You keep going, Tone.
Yeah, so at the moment they're just on a little bit of a break. Now, when there's a break, it's a good time to look through the run lines and see. And like I've been saying, there's not that many over the last week. I haven't been having as many bets at all on the matches. So with that happening, profits are going down a little bit. But so now they've actually come out. Sorry.
No, sorry, mate. I was just going to say, well, you might have just been telling us. I just want to know what you're doing from this point. Are you looking at the 12 over mark now? Are you looking at 15? What's happening?
Yeah, I'm looking at the innings runs and the 12 over lines. But like I was just saying there, because over the last 2 weeks, the lines have been getting really tight on to be like near enough to say that they seem to be like agreeing with each other kind of thing.
Well, I think you'd find more advantage in this in the early games of the tournament, wouldn't you? Like when the Big Bash starts in December, we'll have a look at doing this with you again for sure. And I think you'll find the wider margins at the beginning of a tournament, they're really waking up now to the teams, who's in form, who's not, what the wickets are doing, what the scores are doing. It all becomes a lot tighter at the end, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You're looking for That's why I think the one-day international matches are more. There's more of a variance in the odds and stuff like that kind of thing, that people have a bit of a wider range. So you could easily get between 10 and 15 runs difference on the innings runs. On the first 15 overs, you could easily get like 7 or 8. Now you don't need many of them. If you say, for example, you backed over 70, under 75, then there was a couple of 4s, and it'd probably be up to 75 to 82, and you've easily got quite a big, wider range of runs kind of thing to make a profit out now. Long term, like I say, I've done this 3 to 4 years and made quite a lot of money out of it. So there's definitely advantages there. But people will say to me when I say oh, I'm doing really well on cricket, they'll say, what am I betting? But I can't give them any tips because I've got to watch the match. I'm watching the match all the time, kind of thing, to see kind of thing, and what is if there's any opportunities to go in. Now, if there's a wicket, it'll drop quite a bit, and then that's when I'm quick off the mark.
Yeah. Well, the market's indicating it's a wicket. Have they gone up to review this then? I think this is hit his glove.
I think it's a glove, yeah.
No, there's nothing there at all. So it's going to be not out. So I'm going to see if I can jump in and get a bit of delay here, because they're not going to give that out.
Is there not a nick there just right at the end?
You can't overrule just on that. It's gone well past him when that turns up. So it'd have to be a bigger spike, and it looked to me like the ball was passed. So that's their review gone now, isn't it?
So looking there now, that I don't see, I'd be looking to go over that, but I don't think that's the right line. That 182.5. I think they thought there was a wicket there.
Right. So you're saying that's too low now, then?
Yeah, because if you look there on Paddy Power, the 190.
Right. So why could you not play?
It's suspended. Yeah, it's suspended. So
it's gone to 189.
Yeah, I think they thought there was a wicket, so that's where it would have come down to. But obviously, that wasn't given. So this is, like I say, this is not a great variance in. There's not really many opportunities now. I just keep looking and seeing if there's anything. Like the 12 over lines, you're probably looking for 3 or 4 difference again there. Now on innings runs, unless it's over 5, I don't even bother playing, because it's not value in my eyes,
So sorry, you're looking for what, the 4 or 5 difference?
Yeah, minimum on innings runs, it's 5. I'm looking for at least 5 runs difference.
Yeah.
And on the first 6 and first 12 overs, 3 difference kind of thing.
So I don't suppose there's any way that you would look at, I guess it's more speculation than arbing, to look at, backing the under sort of 189.5 and then thinking, well, the run rate will slow from here, or if they get a wicket, then you're flying, because then you can, after the wicket, it'll drop on Betfair, you lock in the profit then, can't you? But it's just very similar to trading, isn't it? Delhi Capitals are 335 at the moment. If they get a wicket, they go back to 240.
Yeah, definitely. I do sometimes I'll have an opinion where I'll think, because I've put in the room before when I've backed a team to be under and they've gone over, and vice versa. If I think they're too low on a spreadsheet, I think this grounds, because it's very misleading. This, I think what's the average we got here is 170. And that's what the line opened at, 170, and I wasn't convinced that Mumbai were going to get more than that at all, because they haven't played here. I think I've only got them down as playing twice at this venue.
There's something going on here. Maybe he's just saying he hasn't got any communications.
Yeah, they've only played here twice. Mumbai, I think, won 1 and lost 1. They couldn't defend 176 again. There was a super over against King Punjabi.
Right.
And the other one, they chased down 110 against Delhi. So a bit of a non-event that. So they seem to have not played that many times here, where Delhi have played here, I think it's 7 times have played here. Won 4, lost 3.
Well, that's the thing I was looking at yesterday that, Delhi have played here more often. That's why I've gone for them with the value. But it seems that I've sort of missed the boat a little bit.
Yeah, I think they're looking at their stats. They've played here 7 times. They've batted first here 6, won 4, lost 2.
Yeah.
And then when they batted second, they lost in that game when they batted second. They only made 1-3-1 against Sunrisers 2-1-9.
Mumbai have been so hard for me to catch. You get the email, so you'll know. Is that 6 or is that going to be out? That is gone.
Oh,
whenever I back Mumbai, they just seem to put in a shocker. And then when I go against them today, I just think, I'll go with Delhi with the value, and they put on a performance like this. I think it was just a rookie error that I made the other day. I even wrote it in the email. I feel so stupid. I said, I backed Mumbai in the daily email the other day because they've been winning everything. They've been playing like they are now. But I even wrote the thing in the email saying, Mumbai don't need to win this game. They might make some changes and rest players for this match coming up. They're not going to be too fired up to win it because they're going to come top whether they win it or whether they don't. And I went with them because I thought, no, they'll try and just keep the win rate going. No team wants to lose a game just before the finals. But they made some changes to the team and they played abysmal. And then they swapped the team back here and they're going at 11 and over.
Yeah, definitely.
They're going to get 190 at the moment, 200. There's another 6. Or has he not made it? He might not have made this. He is gone.
No, he's gone. De Kock's gone.
That's a big wicket.
That should drop at least 10 runs probably off that.
Or it's gone from, the price has gone from 4.3 down to 320. That's a big wicket.
Yeah.
So just for people that are trying to learn what you're doing, what would you expect the runs to drop here now? You had 189. What are you thinking now? 179, 175?
No, I think prior to that wicket, they were as high as 196.
Okay, so we're expecting now 185 maybe?
I was thinking that 185, but they don't seem to. I think now because this guy is going as well now, isn't he? The guy who's playing, is it Yadav?
Yeah.
He's 35 off 20 now as well. So,
and you've still got to factor in that Big Pollard's got to come in yet too.
Yeah, you've got Pollard and the 2 Pandyas who can both hit balls. And Kishan as well has been hitting them for 6 as well, hasn't he? So it's quite the batting lineup's really strong here for these.
But what's also to counter that is, unfortunately for Delhi, they've gone in with an extra bowler in this game and it hasn't really helped them at the moment. They're in a world of pain and they're going to be short a batsman in the back end because they've gone for the extra bowler in this one.
Yeah, I don't know why they put this Daniel Sams in again. He was poor the other day and he's gone for 15 in his first over. So I can't understand because is he in for who is it that normally plays? Is it Puran, is it? Or just checking who they normally not Hetmeyer, isn't it? Normally that's who's replaced the replacement for Sams, I think.
Yeah, I'm not. It's so hard to get good information in this pre-game because people in India don't really know because this is being played in the UAE. And we're just not getting any good pre-game information about team changes and what's really happening.
And that was the thing with Mumbai the other day against Sunrisers. I understand that they rested Bolt and Bumrah, but I thought because Bumrah was in contention for the top wicket taker that he would have played, to be honest. Because it's like Rabada was never rested, really, was he? In any game, he's played every match.
Yep. So did you see Shashank's comment for you in the cricket room? He's asking you, do you think Rabada will end up with the top wicket?
Yeah, I'm on Rabada myself at 4-1, and I think it was 6-4. I got 2.5 and 5, but I have had a cover on Bumrah. Now, I was actually on him for quite a bit of money last year when he got injured with 2 games to go on Rabada and ended up getting caught in the last game by Tahir. So I've got a bad beat over that one because it was just Tahir for Chennai. He was just getting the odd wicket and they nearly got knocked out a couple of times. And he managed to get there on the last game, so it was like not a good end to it.
They're the worst, aren't they? I don't mind placing a bet that loses. I never worry about losing. It's all part of the game. The ones I hate are the ones that you think you've got it in the bag, and then like a really bad beat, like that Kings 11 game when they defended 110 or something stupid like that. I mean, the other day, the one that really hurt the other day, it still hurts me now, but I didn't even lose, is the Pakistan-Zimbabwe game. I took a big stand against Pakistan at about 1.45 because they were already 3 wickets down. And they kept losing wicket after wicket. And I thought, I'm home here. And I was looking at this massive big green. It was going to be around 300 quid. And then people start talking about the tie. And I'm like, no, that can't happen. Then got a couple of runs in the last over, then a wicket. And I thought, well, I'm sweet now. And they needed 5 runs off 2, or 6 runs off 2 they needed. And he got a single. And I thought, well, he's got to hit this last ball for 4. And it's the number 9 that's in, or the number 10 or something. Thank you. The number 9 or 10 has come out. And, of course, the last ball of the match, he smashes 4. And, of course, the whole market's void. And I'm like, I didn't cover. I didn't even think about covering. I'm just watching the game. And it's like, I just hate a bad beat, Tony. I hate it when you think you've just been robbed, even when I don't lose. I'm still sick about it now.
Yeah, definitely. The tie, I think it's one of them with the ties. It's either you back it to cover it or you don't back it, where I'm one which I think there's no value in it now. With there's like the women, I don't know if you've seen the women's match yesterday in India. I had a really I think they're doing like a challenge, aren't they, to this in between the IPL and stuff.
Yeah.
And I managed to get like a good green of like about £160 on it. And then it come to the last over. And I'm thinking, let's tie again. But by that time, when you're in the last over, it's like 1.1. And I'm thinking,
yeah, you're giving away 10%, but it's still only 10%. Because at the end of the day, right, if you've got a nice 160 green and it's the last over match, I think it's worth you just paying the 110. You're only giving away, 16, 18 pound to secure. You're still going to win 145 if you're wrong. It's just, there's nothing worse than losing it. So,
yeah,
you're right, the closer it gets.
Yeah, the closer it gets, the higher the price. And when it's on the last ball, when it's like 1.3, I don't know if these people who are laying the tie pre-game at like 102, 103, they probably are making money if you did it every match. Now, I like we've seen some of these games in this IPL, and you think, how's that ended up in a tie and such and such? Now, pre-tournament, the 365, I thought normally you're probably getting, say, like, will there be a super over in the event? And I've seen it 1.8, 1.9, in across all the games. And this year it was 1.33 for a tie in any game. And I thought, that is far. I was thinking, surely the no tie in any match at 3.25 is a bet. Now, I think the tie happened in the second game. So obviously I didn't back it because I couldn't see any other company offering the price. And I just thought, this just seems too big and too good to be true. And obviously, the ties, what have happened, have been very suspect, and especially, was it the Sunrisers game? Has there been 3 ties as the end of this year as well? Yeah,
there's been a lot. There's a lot more in the IPL. I think it's obvious to you and I that know, but some guys won't understand. But the shorter the game, the more likely a tie. So
yeah, definitely.
When in the UK, when the 100 starts next summer, if it starts, we'll see what happens with COVID and everything. But when the 100 starts, there's more likely to be ties in that game than the IPL, because that's a 100 ball game rather than 120 of the IPL or the 300 ball game of a 50 over match. So I would be expecting more ties in the 100 than I would in the IPL.
Yeah, definitely. They should, because they have them T10s on the matches, don't they, as well? And they seem to be more. Now, I think the one day, I don't know what the price was for a one day, the Pakistan match the other day to be a tie, but I'd have just been like, I think it would be 101 was matched, I think, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
What happens is the way it works is it doesn't really matter what the first team gets. If they get off in the 100, you're probably going to be looking at scores of around 125 to 140. And then if they get 140, then the guys know, right, well, we've got 100 balls to get that. It might be high, 150, say. And they time the chase. They don't time it to get there after 50 balls or 60 balls or 80 balls. They time it to get there off the 100 balls they've got. That's why so many matches end up a tie, because even Delhi today, let's say they're going to be chasing 200, they think, right, well, we've got to go at 10 and over. So if they can leave themselves 14 or 12 off the last over, they're a chance to win. But they're also a good chance of getting a tie. And teams chasing know that, well, if we can just get that tie, at least we're back in with a super over. But it does happen. You know, it used to be a tie in one-day cricket would happen once every 300 games. Well, that happens a lot more in T20. It's a lot more than 1 in 300. But, of course, odds of 102, if I go and have a look what the odds are in this game, if we go and have a look here at the tied match now, you can see it's 103. So what those odds indicate is that we're going to get a tie once every 33 games. So for me, that's a bad value bet. I just don't do it. The only time I do it is when I've got a decent profit. I want to, go and just cover the bet to make sure that I lock in the win, because there's nothing worse than what happened with Pakistan. You get the win and then you lose it. But anyway, getting back on topic, Tone, what are you looking at here off the 12 overs? We're 9.5 now. They're still going just under 10 and over now. It has come back a little bit. Where are you thinking we're going to be landing on the 12 over runs?
Probably between like 105 to 110, but I did actually see I missed an opportunity there, but that's because I think Sky Bet and Betfred were 111 and they're 110 now, and I think 365 were down at 106, so it was quite a big gap there, but we didn't no business done there. Now I do have like other firms where because Ladbrokes and Coddles are so hard to get bets on with. Your account lasts 5 minutes with them, but there's quite a few like independent firms out there now who are taking bets, and they'll match like Bet365, Ladbrokes, Coddles, their prices kind of thing. Now I've had a company who are doing that, who have been like fine. I've used them for like over a year now. And they're still like taking out. The ideal scenario is for me to lose with them and win on Betfair. That is the ideal scenario, because obviously Betfair are never going to shut you down, are they? Because it's the exchange kind of thing. So it's just when you start winning with a company, like for example, I think there was one company I used, and I think it might have been Redbet or Unibet or something like that, and I think I'd put like £1,000 in there over a 6-month period, and they were sending me messages saying, do you have a gambling problem and all this? And then in the end, about a year later, I think I ended up withdrawing about $4,000 out of them, never depositing anything else. So it just goes to show that if they think you're like a mug, they're just gonna they're not bothered kind of thing. But as soon as you start winning a few times, they end up like closing your account down and are restricting you kind of thing.
Yeah, so, for sure. They'll rinse you when you're losing. But there's an interesting video that Jeff Banks posted the other day. He's an online bookmaker. I think he does On Track. Oh, yeah. He's a nightmare.
He's an idiot.
He's a right nightmare. But he did post a video the other day on this subject, which I did find really interesting. So I'll go and find the tweet for you guys and the video and post it. And it's just on what Tony's talking about now. He really hates guys like us. He calls, money traders and guys that are just looking for bookmakers' mistakes and stuff. and they can't stand it. And he explains why they gub accounts and how easy it is to get gubbed after just one or two bets, some of the stuff that bookmakers are now putting onto your computers. And, I'm surprised that you've still got all these accounts, because if, they put stuff on it that can track when you're on their website. They can also track what other websites you're looking at the moment. So they can see if you've got other bookmakers open and other exchanges. So they know that you're trawling for the best prices, and they can soon see that at any second, if you bet with them and then they're at the top price at that moment, even for a few seconds, they detect all that and they shut you down really quick. I've told the story before, so I won't bore you all with it again. We had 8 bets with Paddy Power and all 8 lost. They got my money 8 times out of 8 and they shut us down. And the long story short, we asked them why. And you never, ever get an answer, but we did because we pushed. And they just said, look, it's quite simple. We'll just be honest with you. Everything you backed shortened, every single thing. So we know that long term you're going to kill us. You're backing everything that's shortening. We know what you're doing. We don't want your business. So see you later. That was the end of the account. We never had a winning bet with them.
Yeah, that's definitely. You see, this is what I don't understand though with some of the firms, like, because where I worked for Bet365 for about 8 years, back in just when they were started off on the internet, and when there used to be horse traders who used to price them just before Betfair there was any liquidity in Betfair. People like that, they'd actually use to their advantage. If someone come on and backed, they're always backing a certain horse, and it might be 10 to 1. They might come on and want 200 quid on. Well, they'd probably let them have £100 on, but now it's only 6 to 1 the horse. So every time they use it for their advantage to shorten the horses up, which that's what traders are for. If they had someone who's really good on, say, for example, football, let them get a fair bet on, then cut the price, so you're not going to get filled in on it kind of thing by other people. So they can use it to their advantage, but it seems now that they just go off Betfair and that's all it is really.
That's the thing. There's no longer any point in having traders at companies. It's no point having odds compilers at a company, because say you're William Hill, right? Why are you going to pay 40 or 50 grand a year to an odds compiler? Because let's just say hypothetically, right, guys, I'll give you an example of why an odds compiler is out of business. Let's just say we look at a football game and I just say, I'm the best odds compiler in the world. I'm never wrong. And this team should be 6 to 1. They've got no hope of winning the game, 6 to 1. Every other firm is 4 to 1, and say Betfair's 9 to 2, even 5 to 1, right? There's no chance in hell that my boss, even though I'm the best odds compiler on the planet and I'm never wrong, he ain't putting up 6 to 1, because it'll just get smashed by every arbor that's living. They're just going to back it at 6 and then lay it on the exchange at 5. So he said, oh, no, I can't go up 6. I'm going to go up, 5. Well, what's the point of having me here? You may as well just follow Betfair. And that's what they all do. So many odds compilers now just don't have a job, because there's no point. No matter how good you are at odds compiling, if you're above Betfair, you are going to get smashed.
Yeah, definitely. Now, with a lot of the sports, though, nowadays, the racing, football, basketball, ice hockey, all sports like this, it's all model-based, and they control the odds. If a team scores, the team is going to be this price. Now, there is certain sports, for example, like cricket, you could never trade cricket through automation. The same with golf and stuff like that. There is certain sports which are sports like that, with the state of the pitch is never always the same, and
tennis as well. You can't really trade tennis on auto. I don't believe. Some people might say you can, but
yeah, I think that you could. I think that's, if you ask TradeShark, I'd probably say that they, with the tennis as well, if a player wins a point, the odds know what they're going to be before the points. Like, if it was 150, if he wins a point, it's going to go to like 147 or.
It's all well and good knowing where the price is going to go. Like, I can tell you right now where Delhi will go if they lose a wicket this ball, but it's no point me betting on it because the price isn't down there. And if he doesn't get the wicket, what's the point? The only point is if I know a wicket's coming is I back them now at 3 and then trade out at 2.5 when the wicket comes. But if the wicket doesn't come, you bet at 3. I really don't understand how knowing where a price is going to go helps you. Yeah, I can tell you on tennis, if this guy wins this point, it'll go here. And if he loses it, it'll go here. How does that information help a trader though? Because you don't know what's going to happen in the point.
Yeah. I suppose looking at it that way. But for example, here, say for example, a game with like KKR in.
There's a wicket. They're going to go to 2.5. Watch this. So even if I'd said to you, they'll be 2.5, how would you have used that information? They're now just sitting at 2.6, but we didn't bet at 3. So what was the point of knowing where the price is going to go?
Yeah, not so much that, but if you look at it an example, say for example, a team like KKR who send Narayan in at different stages, you wouldn't have the price say if the team opened with Narayan, you'd probably have their power play a lot higher with a player who opened with, say, just the standard batting. It could be 5 runs higher and stuff like that. So
yeah, if they send a pink hitter in, but it's still a dangerous play, Tony, because Narayan can get out first ball.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like a horrible to price up his runs because he could score 50, especially with spread betting. He could go on a rampage and score 50, and he could be out for a duck. So
well, that's the thing. It very rarely ends up where they say with him because, there's no midpoint. He either blitzes it or he gets out. Now, tell me what the price of Delhi Capitals is now, Tone. I said if they got a wicket, they'd go to 250. Just show the guys what the price is.
Yeah, 252, 254.
So I was bang on.
Yeah, so it's come down from what, 3
right, so even knowing where a price will go, if they get Pollard for a duck here, Delhi will go to 210, maybe 2. So I've just told you where it will go, but how do you take advantage of that? What's the point of knowing that? Because unless he gets out, it's not going to happen. And unless we bet on them now at 250 thinking it's going to happen, then we can't take advantage of it. So there is, in my opinion, no real advantage knowing where the price is going to go.
Yeah. I suppose looking at it that way, it's just one of them sports where, like, for example, in my job kind of thing, Sporting Index, like a lot of the sports are automatically controlled for the likes of basketball, ice hockey, volleyball, football, even kind of thing, where they don't need one pair. You could do, like, for example, 5 basketball matches at once, because it's all automated. Where with cricket and golf, you've got to be watching the live pictures.
Yeah, for sure.
That type of thing. That's when it's more, where some traders could do up to 10 football matches at once, because it automatically knows if a team goes 1-0 up, they are this price. If a team has a player sent off, they go to this price. Where the crickets can be a lot of variations, and again with golf, on conditions, the type of the pitch. So that's where it's more like it's monitored.
But again, I ask you the same question. Let's be hypothetical here and say Manchester United are playing Arsenal and Manchester United are 2.5. You and I could sit here for 5 minutes and easily work out what the price of United would be if Arsenal scored first and what the price United would be if they scored first. We can work that out with a lot of precision, you and I, easy. But how does it help us? We still don't know which team's going to score first or if either of them are going to score. So knowing what the price will be doesn't really help you. Where you've got to know is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So if someone tells me right now, if someone in the room can tell me now, is Pollard going to get more than 50 here or is he going to get out for under 20? If you can tell me that with some certainty, then I can make a bet and win a lot of money. It's no point me saying that if he gets out right now, it's going to go to 205 or 204. And if he hits 2 6s, they're going to go to 3 because I don't know which one it's going to be. So it's a lot of people spend a lot of time working out what will happen if, but it's no use to you unless that actually happens and you've made a bet beforehand betting on it happening, because that price is bang on 250 now and we didn't make a penny out of it because we didn't bet on them at 3. This could be out. He's gone, the big man. So it'll go down to even money now. But again, we didn't bet. Go and have a look at the price, see where it goes.
Yeah, 1.9 now.
Yeah, watch it bounce back, though. There's always a bounce back.
They'll probably, when the new batsmen come in, it'll probably be 2
inches. It'll go back to evens.
They've been as high as about 4.4, though, haven't
they? Yeah. So do you see why, again, I've gone pretty well spot on with the price, 194, 195. I said evens, but I didn't make any money from it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because Pollard could have come out and hit 50, but if someone could have said, yeah, he'll get a duck, then we can make money from it. So I think Mumbai's in a bit of trouble now.
Yeah, definitely.
We're right back to even money, and our guys are back in the green. You should all be having green screens here if you've backed Delhi, because we got on them at 220. So, Tony, I'm going to just focus on what you're doing here. What are you thinking with these run lines here? That's the 12 overs gone now. What were you saying that the run line should have been? Did you actually end up having a bet on the 12 run line?
No, I didn't know. I think it was a lot higher than that, though, wasn't it? It's finished 100 for free after 12 overs. Now, the line was around 1.5 to 110, so I wouldn't have won on that one, kind of thing. Now,
so I think if you go and have a look at Sporting Index, they're going to be around 170, maybe 175 now.
Yeah, because on Betfair's run line now, it's 167, 168.
Yeah, so
it's come down a hell of a lot now.
It was 190, wasn't it?
Yeah, as high as 195 it was, yeah.
It's funny that we were speaking before, Tony, about what price we thought even money would be, and we said 165 to 170, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah.
And look at the price now, even money, and look at the run line, 170. We should do this for a living, mate.
Yeah, definitely. That was it was just probably on these prices as well, which obviously Sky Bet were right with the both teams to score 170 now at 2-1, which is factored in because Mumbai might not get there now.
I'd be laying that.
Yeah, but there again, they're both teams to score 160 is 4-6 or 166.
Yeah.
So now I'd fancy them.
That 160 was a better price. What did you have, 11 to 10 or something before?
Yeah, it was a lot higher. They've dropped that down a little bit. But it just seems to be now that this pitch is slowing up quite a bit, isn't it?
Have you guys got any questions? You're not saying very much in there at all. The last thing we had was about 35 minutes ago from Darren asking, would we be recording this webinar? You guys got any questions, or are you off doing racing or just watching the game or something? What are you doing? I just thought you might like something different, having a look at a different way of trading that is very low risk, high reward. It's one of those ones where you'll probably lose a bit at the time. You'll lose your 3 or 4 pounds, but you win 60 or 50 when you're right. So it's worth sort of looking at. You're just covering one to the other. So would you still be looking at this first innings, Tony? Would you now look at the total runs and see if there's any ricks in that with any of them? Is that what you're doing now?
I'm just looking through them now on the prices.
So 168 there for Betfair.
Yeah, 168.
168 and a half there. 168 and a half there. 160. They're all 168 and a half.
Yeah, as we're going through, there's not really many opportunities there. 167. So that's still here. It's been like this the last couple of days, to be honest. Ladbrokes 169.
You just think they're getting too smart now because there's only 3 games left. They've worked it out.
Yeah, they probably put where they get these run lines from is they work out how many runs will be scored in the overs kind of thing. So you're probably looking at 13 to 16. You're probably 8.5 and over. And then the last 4 overs, depending on how many wickets you're probably thinking 11, 12, 13 and over.
Well, yeah.
For there.
the last 4 overs, they've only got 18 runs and they've lost a couple of wickets. So it's a great fight back from Delhi. I think you said they were nearly up near 4 at one point. And
Yeah, I think
if they lost a wicket now, they'd go 170, 175. I think the guys have got to rebuild here.
4.4, they went highest.
Sorry, what was that? What was the highest?
4.4.
Okay, 4.4.
1.3 for Mumbai.
It's just strange in T20 how a game can turn, isn't it? At one stage, you back Delhi, and after 6 overs, you think you're in a world of pain. But if you just hold that graph there, Tony, if you guys see where the price starts, that first little flat line at the beginning. Now, if you were to draw a line right across there, it shows you again that the price just keeps coming back to its original point. And I can see this match flip-flopping quite a bit more from this point on. If they get another wicket here, you might go down to 170 for Delhi. Then a big finish from Mumbai puts them back up to 220. It's incredible how often it happens.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting here because I think I was reading something what someone put. I think it was Marky Iverson on Twitter and put something about the Mumbai with the highest score in the last 4 overs. Now they need to be careful here. They don't lose any more batsmen before that because they have got Pandya to come.
The big point behind that stat, Tony, is the fact that it was usually Pollard that was batting in the last 4 overs and he won't be there today. So I wouldn't be expecting that big finish from Mumbai. He's come out and been cracking 50 off 20 and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think they need, if they only got 160, I'd definitely be siding with Delhi to.
Well, I think if they're 160, down. I think Delhi will be 180. But you did make a good point earlier that the wicket appears to be slowing up a bit. Now, I haven't really been focusing today. I've not had a look at the weather. I don't know if there's any wind there or anything, or if they're expecting dew to come in later tonight. If there's no wind and they're expecting a dew, then that really puts it into Delhi's favour to come out and bat second on a wicket with dew. And I'm not seeing too many guys sweating here, so it doesn't seem to be too humid. It just seems a nice evening, maybe not too much dew around. We'll just have to watch these last 6 overs. Right, these guys are going to have a timeout, and I need one myself. So I'm just going to leave Tony to talk to you for a couple of minutes about different strategies and what he thinks might happen in this game. And I'll be back in about 2 minutes. Leave it to you, mate.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, like I said, it would be good to do a one-day international match, maybe at the end of the month. There's some coming up with it, like part of the innings, England, South Africa. There's definitely a lot more opportunities on that one-day internationals, and there's like various first 5 overs, 10 overs, 15, 30, and then you've got your 40 and the full innings match. So it is like really interesting, and I must admit, like I've been doing this for a few years now, and I very rarely have. I will have losers, but I might lose 50, 60 pounds on a game, but I have won anything between like 400 and 500 on some games where I've had a jackpot. But I'm happy to average it out about 100, 150 pound a game. And if I can do that quite constantly, it's a decent second income. And the good thing is with it, you're not actually risking a great deal. So you could do it with like £20 bets where you're risking £2 a bet, and it soon adds up. You could easily like pocket £50 in a game for very minimal risk. And there's not any like violent, massive swings, and you can also like get out if the runs are going too high and stuff like that. So I don't know if anyone's got any questions they want to put in the chat while Tony's just gone away. Because as you can see through the screens, there's not much variance at the moment while they're having the timeout.
All right, I'm back.
I've just got this. I think Sean's just asked a question there.
Sean, you enjoying the webinar? Thanks, mate. You recognise some of the bookies you have on your screen, like Skybet, William Hill. What are some of the lesser known bookies that you use for this, mate?
A lot of the bookies now are doing the same odds kind of thing. For example, you have like, I don't know if you can, let me just open these.
Just while Tony's opening them, Sean, a lot of these things now are white labels. So what I can do if I wanted to, it probably cost around £30,000 or £40,000 to do it. But what you can do is you can go and get a website set up, and like Bet365, I've got to stop talking. Hang on, I'll come back to you on that. I'm going to have a big cough. I might be all right. Hang on. What you can do is get a white label, Sean, and it will just virtually copy Bet365's prices, and it will just do it all automatically. Or you can have one set to cover the Betfair prices less 10%. So if Betfair were 2.4, you'd be 2.36, something like that. And it just virtually copies it. So anyone can set them up these days. You go ahead, Tone.
Yeah, like I say, these ones I've got on my bookmarks here on the left-hand side where I've got in play. I've just got my arrow on now. A lot of them sites are the ones I use. They're most popular for cricket betting. So I've got Betfred, Ladbrokes. It's one there called Sport Betio, which a lot of the time I find these which are on like players' shirts on football matches. But a lot of them, for example, Bet UK and Unibet, Redbet, they're all under the same odds. So a lot of them you might get gubbed on Bet UK, but you can go to another site and open the thing, and they seem to last for quite a while on them sites. Now, the more you can find, there's like websites you can go on and look at all different accounts, but I've like got loads of different accounts here where I keep checking to see it. Some of them don't do cricket. All the ones at the top I do cricket on. So, but I think there's a website. Complete? So this one here, this complete list of online bookies. Just make that a bit bigger so you can see. This will list all the different bookmakers. Now, obviously, some of these are abroad, so you just like the ones which are international are obviously fine to use. But like anything, I will always look at the website, make sure they're like the money's safe with them and stuff like that kind of thing. So, but there's like absolutely loads of different sites there, and even down the bottom, like Betfred's 107, but it's UK, so it's fine. But like any, I won't have like it. The only accounts I have a lot of money in is Bet365 and Betfair, which I know. And all the like big ones like Ladbrokes, Corals, Pills, they're all going to be fine. But anything like Unibet, once I get to a certain amount, I probably wouldn't have more than £1,000 in there. And I'd regularly withdraw from them.
Yeah, you've definitely got to be careful with who your money's.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
There's actually quite a good one around at the moment, which is an Australian. Probably you know it, to be honest, Tony. Topsport.com.
Yeah.
Now I actually spoke to these because I thought it was non-UK, but they've opened me an account with them, and it's like a pretty decent website, to be honest. I use it quite a lot for the cricket because they have so many these additional markets which are really good. Which I'll have, like, for example, innings runs you can bet on pre-match. And I like these ones with the boundaries where you can have, like, most sixes, most fours.
Yeah, you'd be on Mumbai to get most sixes here, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I backed them at 1.8, most sixes. But, like, tomorrow, I like Sunrisers on the most four market. I've backed that somewhere else. Now, these seem to be top price, quite a few markets on these now. I don't know how long my account will actually last with these because looking at I'll just
I just find it's for me personally, it's just so much effort to do arbing and to do the free bets and make a bit of money, and then the amount of grief that you get trying to get your money back out of them. I just think, you know what, I just can't be bothered with you if you're going to be just playing so hard to get 200 quid back out of an account. You got to send this and send that and send the other and prove this and prove that. And I'm like, oh no, I'll just stay on Betfair and trade the horses. Thanks.
Yeah, that to be honest, I think a lot of the UK accounts, the ones you've like 365 are fine, and I think all the accounts kind of thing over here are all okay. You know, you just send your driving license in or passport, and they let you open like the account, and there's not a problem. I've not really had any problems with
Well, what they should be doing, Tony, is be able to just lodge your documents with a company like Visa or something, and then once, if all the bookmakers sign up to that, you just give that company your account number at that, and there's all your documents. It's all there. You shouldn't have to provide, 25 different passport photos and license photos. I mean, I know that it's easy. We get all this stuff, we scan it, we've got it in a file, and then, right, here's everything you need, here's everything you need. But they always want a bill within the last 3 months or something. So you got to continually update that every 3 months. And I don't even get bank statements anymore. I just, everything's online. And I opted, to do the right thing by the planet. You go, well, paperless, give me paperless things. And then they won't take a screenshot. They go, oh, no, you could have faked that. I'm like, mate, are you serious? It's 200 quid. Just send the money. But no, so it's just, I just bin them. I don't have any bookmaker accounts now.
Yeah, definitely. I know what you mean. I've had that with a couple of the like foreign ones, which are really a nightmare kind of thing, trying to get your money out. They seem to like, if you win, they won't let you have the money kind of thing. But the ones over here I've not had any problems with, and like you say, like Betfair's like fine kind of thing. But
the thing that really annoys me with them, Tony, is, look, if they're going to go down that path and demand that you provide the documents, it should be on opening the account. You open the account, you provide the documents, then you can bet. What really annoys me is when they'll let you open an account, drop $1,000, and then put another $1,000 in and lose it. And then you might win 500 and you go to do a withdrawal. Oh, you can't do that till you provide all the documents. Well, why were you allowing me to bet before proving who I am? That sort of thing. It's just really, it's got to be one way or the other.
Well, I think that's what the, like with Sporting Index and SpreadX, the spread firms, they always do like a phone call and you have to provide the information, like the passport and driving license or document to prove your identity before you deposit. And then once you've done that, there's no issue after that. And that's how I think it should be, really.
Definitely. If a company's going to demand documents, then I want them to demand it before they let me bet.
Yeah, 100%. That's how it should be. And I think that a lot of the gambling commission, I think, are going down that line that should happen, kind of thing. But until we get like what Australia, because with Australia they have the like guaranteed bet, don't they, where you can win up to a certain amount on like in different states, isn't it? Which I think that's like they should do that over here, because half of the bookmakers would be gone then, because all they want is losers.
That's another thing that Jeff Banks covers in this video that I'm going to send you all later, is he mentions that he believes that bookmakers should be held to an account where anybody should be able to have an account and win a minimum bet of, say, £100. You've got to have minimum liability. It is all over Australia now. And some races, some country tracks are like, you can bet to win $500. Others are $1,000. The main tracks are $5,000. And you're not allowed to bar accounts. Anybody can bet with you at advertised prices to win that set amount. And then there's no hassle. There's no accounts getting gubbed. Everyone can get a bet on. And as you've said, a smart bookmaker will learn who the good punters are.
That's it.
If you're getting rinsed if you're getting rinsed by someone on horses, I would just take their bet every day of the week, and then I would shorten it on my thing, go and lay it off on Betfair. You've got no liability. Yeah, and you know who's going to win the race.
Definitely. But it's like anything, the bookmakers, I've like been on course for probably 13, 14 years, and I don't think I've ever like restricted a fair bet. Someone might come and ask, they want like 500 each way on something, and I've said you can have 200 each way, but it's a fair bet, isn't it? You go at the price, and
there's
you
another
use that
wicket
information.
for Delhi. It's all falling apart here. They've just had a really good couple of overs. They went from even money, Delhi, back out to 335, but they've just taken a wicket there and come back into around 290. He's just got that off the outside edge of the bat and it's flown. Bat turned in his hand. You can see it's gone back through that line again. So we always look at that line. You see there where it started just above 2 at the beginning. And then if you drew a line straight across, it's gone right up to 4.4, then back to under 2, and then now it's back above. It's just incredible how often it will go through it. And I suspect in the power play, if Delhi start well, it will come back as well.
Do you think, what sort of score do you think they're on for now then?
I still think they'll get 180, to be honest. I think they'll get easy 10 and over off these 4 overs. They've been getting 12 and 14. So I still see them finishing on 180 now.
Yeah, definitely. They're going pretty well.
Which is going to put them in the box seat for sure.
I was just thinking that they might be too short in Mumbai still, but maybe I suppose the 180 score is probably the right. If they get to 180, they'll probably be 1.5, wouldn't they? Based on the projection so far.
Yeah.
Because that spike on the graph there where it's gone up to about 4.4, that was probably when they were on for around about 195, wasn't it? 190, 195. So
yeah,
if we look at it that way.
Yeah. I think they're about the right price because, again, if you knew what was going to happen, I can tell you, are they going to lose another 3 wickets for 15 runs here, or are they going to blast 40 off the last 4 overs? It's hard to say, but I think I'd rather be a backer of Mumbai at the moment. You got Kishan on 33. Hardik can bat.
It's whether they think they can. It's how many they can chase, isn't it? That's the. Just looking at the. This ground on what Delhi have been. They've played here quite a few times, so what sort of scores they've been? They've scored 1-3-1 there, batting second. Yeah, they've only batted second once, but they've scored 196 and 175 batting first. Well, the batting second, they've only batted second once and scored 1-3-1.
Right.
So that's a bit of a.
So where do you think they're going to finish up here?
I'd say they should, like you said, 180 to 185.
Yeah, right.
With a big push here, but it'll be interesting if they only got to say it'd be more. If they only got 170, 175.
I think they'll be around 240. Would be Delhi if that was the case.
Yeah, it's how many sixes these two it now, isn't it? Really, this late in the.
I'm not sure. Yeah. Well, Delhi's bowled the extra bowler, so it needs to come into play now.
Yeah, they're even bowling Stoinis now, aren't they? Not sure why. So they've got Rabada's got one to bowl. Nokia's got one to bowl. And I presume are they going to bowl Sams again, or are they going to do 2 from Stoinis?
Well, Stoinis didn't do so bad last over, so he might get another go. We'll find out now. So that's 145 off 16.5.
Yeah, there's 3 overs.
5 runs off this over. This has been a great over for Delhi, but the price hasn't reflected that. They went from a 330 something down to 280 for the wicket. And then despite just scoring 5 of this over, the price has stayed at 280. So they must be just backing, the market's backing a Mumbai onslaught here. That's a decent ball. He can't call that wide.
It's a great, I think they've got a ball Stoinis again.
Well, he's only gone for 5 off that over, so I think that's a given that he'll bowl the 19th. But you look at the over before, they went for 18. The over before was like 16 or something. They've had a couple of big overs. So 32 off 12 since the timeout.
Yeah, they're not. They haven't got away from him, really, have they?
Sean says, thanks very much for answering my question. I'll pay more attention to football shirts from now on. I'm not. What's that mean? What were we saying about football shirts?
Oh, that there's a lot of the Premier League sponsored by betting companies now. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Got it. That must have been when I was away. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so this betting site here, this Sport Betio, this was on this was on someone's website. How Watford, Arsenal, Southampton.
Yeah, so they're going to be pretty reliable, aren't they?
Yeah.
And
So
you got
that's what
Betway, I think, are West Ham, and
there's Virgin Bet and VBet, and there's so many companies out there.
But a lot of them are just white labels, just scraping prices, and they're just trying to make a margin themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's a great shot. Then it just becomes a case of marketing. If we all went and opened up a website, we'll have Badger Bet. You're just scraping the prices, and as long as you've got the money behind you, like 30, 40 grand to get it all set up and have a bit of a bank to start taking bets, it then just becomes a marketing exercise. At Bet365, you see how much money they spend on marketing, but bookmakers can't really compete with them because they don't have any shops, they don't have many overheads at all. They just put the best prices and do by far the best marketing, and so it's just a case of getting the marketing right. So 2 shots there, Tony. You've taken them from 280 back to 320, Delhi.
Yeah, that's
probably back on to get this 180 that we're thinking. Let's go and have a look at the total runs on Betfair. What have we got here? Yeah, 184, 185. So they're above it. So we said 180. So we would be a seller at 184, but they've still got 16 balls left.
You probably have them in for the last 2 overs with these and at least 25, wouldn't you?
Well, 16 balls, I think at this stage you start doubling the score sort of thing. It's 32 balls, 16 balls, 32. That puts them on 186.
Yeah. So that's 25. I'd probably say 26 off the last 2 overs in these. So that's one's 8. Yeah, about 185,
Yeah. So I think that, and Betfair's got that 184.5, 185.5 there. So it's about right. That could be out. Fell short. Just the one. I think these prices are pretty well where they're going to end up at the turn. I think we're going to see Delhi turning around 3 and Mumbai will be around 1.5. And I think it's obviously just all going to depend on the power play. If Delhi get through the power play, 1 for 60, then they're going to be favourite. If they go none for 40, the price will probably stay around where it is. And if they lose 3 wickets, they'll be 50. It'll be all over. So we'll just have to see what happens at the start. That would have been a white. He should have let that go. He would have got a run plus another ball.
Do you remember what price they were at the start? Were they about 1.7 after the toss? Was it about 1.7?
Well, Delhi were 220, so it would be 1.75, 180, yeah.
Yeah, 180. Yeah, because I was just thinking that if they were 180 Mumbai on the toss, the run line was 170, wasn't it? So
So if they're going to beat that, they'll be shorter than 170.
Yeah, but if they get if they get 10 runs more, do they?
There's a big 6. It makes a massive difference, doesn't it? He catches that ball. But, look at that, 12, 14, 17 off that over, and it just destroys Marcus Stoinis's 5 runs off the previous over.
Yeah, that was Daniel. I don't understand why they bowled him.
Daniel Sam. Well, that's...
Because if they bowled Stoinis, they have Rabada and Nokia to come.
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand why they didn't bowl Stoinis the 19th and not Nokia and Rabada in between. Because that's 2 games he's gone wicketless now, and he's gone for about 80 runs, hasn't he, Daniel Stams?
Yeah, he's not a good bowler on these wickets.
I think I'd rather have Hetmeyer in the team.
He needs a bit more green. He needs the wickets of Australia, a bit more bounce, a bit greener. These slow, low wickets over here, he's just cannon fodder. So they're bang on 9. So at the moment, if they stay exactly as they are, they'll get 18 off these 2 overs. They'll end up with 180, exactly what we thought.
Yeah. And earlier on the run lines, they were around about between 180, 190. You could have had a few little dabbles there, but because they weren't 5-run gaps, I didn't bother playing kind of thing. So, but it's more to explain it rather than than doing the.
That's a big 6. Look at that shot! Wow. He picked that up off his toes, and with that they go from 3.3 out to 4. I mean, that's incredible. Look at that for a shot.
he couldn't have placed
Starting
that
to sweat
perfect.
now, Tone. There's a bit of sweat there. It'd be interesting to see if any dew comes down. We'll have to have a listen during the change of innings. Since we're going to be going at the change of innings, Tone, before we finish, just tell the guys what you look to do in the second innings, if anything, or is all your business done in the first innings here?
In the second innings, I look for the first 6 overs and the first 12 overs. They're the opportunities I look for.
Well, they're going to end up with probably 200 here now. Rabada's just gone for 12, so maybe bowling Sam's wasn't that bad an idea.
Yeah, very true. Rabada's absolutely been useless today. He's not took a wicket and he's gone for 30. It's 36 or 3.2.
So does that destroy the top bowler thing, or is he still on top?
No, he's too clear of Bumrah at the moment.
Right.
What's he claiming there?
He thought it was a catch, but it was definitely a bump.
Right. I didn't see that. I looked away and then I'm surprised. I thought he was doing a man-can then. I think Ashwin was going to do one, wasn't he, against Morgan earlier on in the sun?
Yeah.
But he didn't actually. He just warned him instead.
So it looks like Bumrah is the 63% favourite to win the purple cap.
Yeah, I don't understand that because he's got. See the advantage here though, if Mumbai go through to the final, they have one more game to play, don't they? And effectively, Delhi could have 2 if they win the
well, that's the thing. Yeah, I think the market's got to be wrong. I think you'd have to lay Bumrah on those odds because Rabada could have an extra 2 games after tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
Lose this, win the next one, and then in the final.
Yeah, it's another. Obviously, it depends on how many Bumrah. If they're tied after today, then Mumbai probably win this if Bumrah takes 2 or 3 wickets. So I'm not sure what it'll be an interesting end to it.
Yeah.
So I've actually not done that bad on the special bets. I thought there was a good bet with Paddy Power at the start of the tournament on the fastest 50.
Right.
They had, I think it was under 80. I think it was under 19 balls, which I think it was Hetmeyer up, got it off 18. So that landed where I think it's the last 5 years there's been a 50 and faster. So I don't know why they were offering 10 to 11. That there would be another one this year. That was definitely the wrong price. But then again, I've backed Rabada top bowler. I've also on Rahul top batsman, but I lost my money on. I backed Kings Punjabi to finish bottom when they were adrift at 3.75, and I had a saver on CSK to finish bottom. So Rajasthan finishing bottom was an absolute nightmare because that killed both bets. So I think Kings Punjabi won 5 out of the last 6, and CSK won the last 3 matches just to finish on 12 points, and then Rajasthan got mauled in the last game, so they finished bottom on the run rate.
Well, they've hit 180 with an over to go. They've hit. They got the 18 off Rabada's over, and they hit 17 off Sam's. That's 2 massive overs. That's game changing.
Yeah, this is looks far too many. Now. Are they now 1.3 or something? Yeah, 1.3. So
that puts Delhi at 4.3. Yeah, 1.3 and 4.3.
Yeah, and then you'd think this is going to go for at least 12 to 15 runs, wouldn't you? This over.
You just don't know. It's a hard thing.
I think if you were pricing this up under and over, I think I'd be definitely about 30 in the line.
Yeah, you'd be buying 190 for sure.
Yeah.
You've got 2 set guys there, one on 48, one on 25 off 10. They're going to be going for every ball.
I think the fixed odds would probably be 13.5 under and over 1.9. I don't know what's the Betfair line now, but 192, 194 and 195. It's just dropped 191, 192.
I think this is already too big for Delhi. I think the advice will be at half time for the guys to trade out of this one.
Yeah, it doesn't look. I don't. What's
well,
the
I want to see a bit of dew come in, and I just think that, they've lost 3 of their last 4 games, Delhi. They're just not that reliable at the moment, and they've gone with the extra bowler here. So they need the extra batsman now. That's a handy dot ball.
Yeah, the highest chaser was CSK of 181 at this ground.
So this will be a record if they chase it.
Yeah. There's no 181 and 178 and 179 were the highest chasers. And this, I think, is another. If they get to 190, I think this is something like the 6th time Mumbai Indians have made this score.
Yeah.
So I think if they don't win the tournament, Mumbai, they've played the best cricket by far in the whole tournament.
Yeah, except when I backed them.
In a game they gifted to Sunrisers.
That was unbelievable.
So
there's your big 6 anyway. 3rd ball.
So the 6 bet is looking very good at 1.8, and the highest. The only problem is they shouldn't get 63 Delhi in this power play, but the higher the score, the more they have to go for it in the power play. That's the only problem with when you're betting on them. So
have you got any open bets at the moment? What are you on?
I'm on Mumbai most 6s at 1.8.
Yep.
Mumbai highest first 6 overs at 1.9.
There goes another 6.
Yeah, and on the stats, what I put on the sheets as well, I put a little write-up in there that on tomorrow's game, this is just my opinion, is that Sunrisers hit the most 4s because they normally hit more 4s than Royal Challengers, and if Sunrisers bat second, if Sunrisers chase, then I'd be on them for the highest first 6 overs as well.
Okay.
That's what I've got written down. So they were my 4 bets. So I backed Mumbai most 6s, highest first 6 overs if they bat first. Sunrisers most 4s, and Sunrisers highest first 6 overs, but only if they bat second. Now, on them bets, you can actually bet them after the toss who will make the highest first 6 overs. So yeah.
You can do it after the toss.
After the toss on them ones, yeah. So, but the spreadsheets there, I've got all that data off the spreadsheet kind of thing, and just like I've just pulled that onto the screen now.
Yeah, I can see that.
If you look there, that Mumbai, the average 8.436s.
Yeah.
Compared to Delhi's, it's only 5.29.
Yeah.
So how
again, that's Pollard though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think they have like the Pandyas and the Cock. There's plenty of players who can hit 6s in the Mumbai side.
Well, there's one off the last ball, mate. They've got the 200.
They've got the 200. Wow.
He could hardly reach it. I don't know if you could see that shot he just played, but he could barely reach the ball outside off stump. And he smashed it over cover. So 200 for 5.
200 for 5, and is that 12 6s, I think, they've hit?
It could be. Last 3 overs went for 55 runs, Tony. That's nearly 20 and over.
That's crazy, isn't it? So that just shows you that the Mumbai in the last 4 overs are just awesome, aren't they? Really?
Well, it's very disappointing from Delhi when we've backed them and they've got the extra bowler in and they've got the chase. Everything was in their favour, and it just looks like Mumbai's come out and just blown them away. I can't make a case for Delhi winning this game. The record you've said here is 181. So how are they going to get 201? And it doesn't appear to me that there's any due around. I'll have to have a look during the break.
And if you look at the bowlers, the top 2 bowlers, Rabada and Nokia, have gone for 8 overs
and 50.
92 runs, took 1 wicket.
That's just incredible. I mean, look at the recent there, just below your mouse, next to your mouse there. 6-6, 1-4, then 6-6, 3 6s in the last over and 2 off Rabada. They're 2 best bowlers, and we were questioning why they were bowling Sams. Blimey.
Yeah. And the Stoinis only got 1 over and he only went for 5.
It's not unbelievable.
So he bowled 16.
I can't see them getting that. I give Delhi around the same chance as I give Donald Trump right now. Maybe Delhi's a bit better. I think Trumpy's 6.2 and Delhi's 5.3. So Delhi's got a slightly better chance than the Donald. Have you guys got any questions before we let Tony get back to his day? Tony, I really appreciate you coming on to share your knowledge with us, and I'd love to do another one with you one morning when the Big Bash starts, because we get the Big Bash of a morning, don't we? Which is brilliant. You get to trade at 2:20 in the morning and then do the racing in the afternoon.
Because maybe if there's any of these one-day internationals, maybe do like a couple of hours of that, because they're a lot better and a lot more gaps in them.
Yeah, that'd be
and stuff. So
that would be great. So it's.
I think we've got a couple coming up, haven't we? Is it South Africa, England? Maybe I don't know what time.
Yeah.
They're on.
They're probably going to be on of an evening, though, aren't they?
Are they not normally about like 1 o'clock start in there?
Oh, that'll be great if we can do that.
Yeah.
We'll do that for sure, mate. We'll do the first innings of one of them.
But if anyone's got any questions, like just put it in the cricket room or Web Central, and I'll answer what I can.
Just do that, guys. Anything you want to know about the run lines markets, it's just a different way of looking at it. You need a few bookmakers' accounts, and then you're going to need a bit of practice at spinning through them and knowing what you're looking for, because you've got to be pretty quick with these things. It changes nearly every ball. So it's just a case of finding one that's a bit slow to change their lines, jumping on it, and then seeing if you can get the ARB at Betfair. But it's really interesting that you can risk £3 or £4 to win 50 or 60. I think it's a good strategy. But guys, for now, that's it. I'm all talked out. Going to let Tony get back to his day and see what we can make of this second innings. I'm trading out of my Delhi bet, probably even go and lay them. I just don't see any way they get these runs. So thank you very much for your company this afternoon, and I will catch you guys tomorrow morning. All right. Thanks very much. Thanks, Tony. Bye for now.
Thanks a lot. Bye now.